All right, small business owners, entrepreneurs, side hustlers everywhere. We've got a special guest for you today who is going to unlock some powerful strategies for you to be able to grow your business, to be able to take it to the next level. He's got a journey that he and his wife have been on, and so I'm super excited to welcome him in. But the first thing we want to do here is go over just a little bit of what his journey is and roll that out here. So let me see if I can actually pull that up. Perfect, I got it. So here's the bottom line, guys. Most families and even small business owners struggle financially. They don't get to spend a lot of time with their family because of their business or job. Maybe you're side hustling and you're starting the business on the side. By the way, Shane and his wife Jocelyn have created basically a plan, a lifestyle. It's called the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint, and it teaches people how to find financial freedom, gain control of their time using an online business and different strategies you can use to actually grow your business. And the bottom line is these guys are a real family who have challenges and struggles like we all do, but they figured out how to make things work through trial and error and putting the pieces together. They're going to show you, a lot of you I know are kind of, dipping your toe in the water with different businesses, maybe not seeing the kind of success that you want to. And obviously the goal of this podcast is to get you to the 7 Figures Club, where 7% of people are able to, make $1 million in their business annually. And there are, a lot of great people we bring in that are going to give you tools and strategies. And Shane and his wife have a powerful blueprint they're going to unpack today to help you to join the 7 Figures Club. So make sure you're paying attention when you get those aha moments, write those down. And then at the end, we're going to have a strong action plan that you can take today to get closer to creating the life that you want. So buckle up, my friends, and get ready for Shane. Shane, welcome to the show.
There are over 32 million businesses in the U.S., and over 90% of them will never break 7 figures in annual sales. So how do we as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs break into that 7 Figures Club? This podcast will relentlessly share the secrets, strategies, and tactics I've used to create 3 multi-7 figures businesses and bring in even more successful entrepreneurs than me to share their inspirational stories and tactics to success. You can create your dream business and life right now. So buckle up and let's go.
Leo, my friend, man, it's good to be here with you today, man. Awesome. Good stuff. How's the weather over there in Utah right now? Is it pretty good? Did y'all finally stop snowing?
You know what? We actually have not stopped snowing. We have still been getting snow as of just the last few days.
Crazy.
And I coach my son in kind of a 7-on-7 football, getting ready for the season in the fall. And boy, it's been some cold practices out there, but these kids have been tough. And then my other son plays soccer, and those practices have been equally cold. So it's been a long winter, but for Utah's been in a drought, so it's been good to get all that snow and get the water in the lakes and reservoirs, replenished. And you guys are coming to us from beautiful green Kentucky, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Spring is in the air here, man. It's felt like summer the last couple of days, but in Kentucky, you just got to wait a few minutes and the weather will change. We got a cold front coming in next week too. So I'll take my summer today and next week I'll freeze. So it's all good.
Yep. No, that's definitely a part of it for sure. So we love to find out background, with you and Jocelyn as you guys have built up the successful online business and helped so many people create a better life for themselves and their family. What were some of the key events or even maybe some struggles that kind of brought you guys to the point where you're like, hey, we've got to be entrepreneurial. We've got to have our own business. We need to have control over our lives. What did that look like? What were some of those key events? Maybe it was growing up. Maybe it was, early on as you guys were starting your family. How did that go?
Well, I mean, our story starts back around 2012, really. Back then, me and my wife, Jocelyn, were actually school teachers. I taught U.S. history.
Nice.
Yeah, coached football myself, actually.
Very cool. Yeah.
And my wife was an elementary school librarian. And man, I was just talking to her about this the other day. If nothing had happened in our life, I'd probably still be on that railroad track to that teacher retirement. Right. And, but we were broke, man, living paycheck to paycheck, just doing our thing. And one day, man, I was actually getting ready to take my son to his daycare center. right before I was going to work. And he actually told me something that startled me. He looked at me and said, one of the workers in his daycare scared him. And I was like, what do you mean? And he told me that she was locking him in a bathroom. And that immediately set up red flags with me. And I knew something was wrong, but he was only 3 years old at the time, and I didn't really know what was going on. So I actually took him over to my daughter's daycare center, and I was going to run to work real quick because it was the day was about to start. So I ran to school, left him there, and I went to my principal and I said, "Hey, I've got to go. There's something going on. Don't know what it is. I've got him over at this other place. I'm going to need the day off work. I know it's too late to get a substitute teacher, but can you watch my class for me?" And my supervisor was an assistant principal at the time. She said, "Is your son in immediate danger right now, Mr. Sams?" And I thought about it for a minute. And I said, "Well, no, not right this second. He's at this other place, but he can't stay there all day." And my boss looked at me and said, "Well, if he's not in immediate danger, I'm afraid you're going to have to handle your personal problems after work. I know your son needs you, but your job needs you too. So you can deal with this later." And, Leo, in that moment, I'd been a good employee. I taught for over a decade, and, I did everything right. Dotted my I's, crossed my T's, like we're brainwashed growing up, work-life balance. Right. But in that moment, I realized that I had to make a change, and I got up and left the school that day. I got out, and on the way back to my son, I promised myself that I would find a way to take control of my income, because the reason that boss thought that they could tell me my job was on par with my son was because they signed my checks. And as long as somebody else signed my checks, I was never going to be able to have true freedom in my life. So me and my wife went on a little mission to try to find ways to start businesses and do things. And, I tried a couple of businesses and failed. I actually tried to be a handyman. And I was going to get a hammer and get a tool belt and go around knocking on my neighbor's doors to be a home inspector and a handyman. And my wife, I said, "What do you think about my idea? I'm going to go be a handyman and see if I can make a living doing this. I'm going to go to the tool store and get some tools." And she said, "Shane, your first clue should have been, you don't have tools. You cannot be a handyman. You are not very handy. This is not your calling in life." Right.
So I had sounds like my wife talking to me, man.
Oh, she said, "You'll burn down the neighborhood if you go knocking on doors trying to fix stuff, man. You can't change the light bulb." And so I started looking for ideas, man. I actually discovered through a podcast this concept of online business. At the time, I made $5,000 a month with me and my wife. Like, I made $2,500 a month. She made $2,500 a month. Together, we made $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. And I had it in my head, if I could just get 100 people to pay me $50 every month, I would be able to replace my income and I could quit my job. That's all I had to do. And I was listening to a podcast one day while I was mowing my grass, and I heard about this guy who he was an architect, and he had started a blog to help people pass the architecture exam. Okay. And he was charging people $19 for a study guide that he would email them after they gave him $19. And in the very first month he launched this online digital product in his online business, he got 416 people to pay him $19. He made $7,900 in a single month. And I about flipped my lawnmower upside down when I heard that, because I thought, oh my gosh, I can do that. Like, I can take my knowledge and my wisdom and my experience, use it in a product form that I can deliver on the internet to solve problems. And people will send me that. Like, that's how I can get 100 people to pay me $50, right? So I go through this 4 or 5 month stretch of trying anything I can. I failed miserably. I didn't make any money online, dude. No money online. And then finally, one day, I got someone to click an ad on a Google ad, and I made 11 cents off of the commission, like a dime and a penny. And I was like, Jocelyn, look, it works. I can prove it. I made money. Look, I made money on the internet, right? And, and then she was like, wow, like, what if we had 1,000 people doing that or whatever, what would it be? And so we actually started creating digital products and creating membership communities. The first one we had was called elementarylibrarian.com. And my wife, Jocelyn, what we did was we created a website. She had a podcast for librarians, and we would sell them lesson plans. Like, if they paid us $50 a month, Jocelyn created lesson plans so they would not have to ever plan lessons at home. They could go home and be with their families, and their class would basically be on autopilot. All they'd have to do is teach. And so we start.
That's a great offer.
Yeah, man. And like, because people don't realize this about librarians. Librarians actually, like, if you're in an elementary school with first through sixth grade, you teach 6 different classes of age grouped kids a day. It's not like me. I was teaching U.S. history 4 times a day, dude. So it's a lot of work to prepare for something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So Jocelyn, we only had, dude, I think like 250 people or something like that on our email list when we finally launched the business. And in the very first month, we got 50 people to pay us $50, made $2,500. That's recurring revenue on a monthly membership. By November, it was $5,000 a month. By July of the next year, that was our first 5-figure month. We made $15,000 in a single month online with just selling PDFs, basically. And people hear that number, and we always think weird about money because we all have so many money mindset issues, but that's only 300 people paying you $50 a month. There's 8 billion people on the planet, guys. So we only needed our 300. So we actually launched 2 more businesses that year because this one was working so well. We tried to repeat the process. So I did the same thing. I launched ushistoryteachers.com and I started selling lesson plans. That took off. And then I also had a playbook business where I was teaching high school football coaches who were defensive coordinators how to run my defense. It was the 3-5-3 defense is what we ran. And so we had so all this combined, we launched all this stuff. And in August, dude, we made $36,000 in a single month. 700, 800 people paid us $50 a month, right? And for our business. And so we quit our job in September, kept growing it. In August, the next year, that was the first time we made over $100,000 in a single month. So within 2 years, we grew this to that we hit that run rate to get to 7 figures. We made $141,000 August that year. And man, it's been crazy ever since. And then of course, you know what happens when you're in a small town in Southeast Kentucky and you quit your job, you get some funny questions at church on Sunday morning, right? So like everyone started like being like, what are you doing? What's happening? Like, why did you both quit your jobs? And a friend of Jocelyn's named Lindsay asked us to show her how to make money online. And we're like, well, we've done it 3 times. Like, surely we can show somebody else how to do it once. And she ended up quitting her job to stay home and homeschool her kids. And that's when we realized, dude, we had something here that we could teach other people to really flip their world upside down. That's kind of where the name Flipped Lifestyle comes from, to where we don't have to put work in front of work-life balance. We can put life in front of it and have life-work balance. We don't have to have one employer that tells us what to do. We can have, 1,000 customers paying us $100 a month, and we have security and stability that you can never have anywhere else. And so Flip Lifestyle launched, man. And, we got about, 100, 200 people join that first month or two. And it's just exploded and taken over our lives ever since. So that's kind of what got me here today.
Oh, that's a beautiful story, a very powerful story. And the thing I love about it is you guys kind of just right out of the gate chose a really smart business model, because there are a lot of different online programs and things where, people are trying to charge thousands of dollars, just to get started, and they have very low conversion ratios on that. Unpack, if you would, like how powerful it is to be able to just charge something smaller, like $50 a month, and how much power that gives you as that builds up in terms of the money that just keeps coming in every month versus those who are trying to do it maybe with a higher ticket offer right off the bat before you've even learned.
Yeah.
What's kind of the difference in that business model? Why do you think you guys chose that, and how has it been more successful?
For sure. I mean, I know why we charged it, why we picked that model specifically was because, we valued stability. We valued the paycheck. Like, I didn't want to just like, okay, great, I sold 3 high ticket products this month, whatever. Like, what am I going to do next month? Are we going to start at 0 every month for the rest of our life? Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I wanted a floor and a foundation before I worked on my ceiling. Like, I offer high ticket stuff now, of course, but that's like where you blow the roof off your business. But we want I want my floor to be higher than everyone else's ceiling. And I actually had a great mentor who introduced me to the membership model. His name was James Schramko. And he said, he kind of explained to me the logic behind it. If you get 100 people to pay you $50 a month, well, if you have 10 of them quit, who cares? You only need 11 people to grow that month, right? You're still going to grow your business, right? So you can continuously, slowly, and stably grow. But you can also do some really cool things with the membership model. Like let's say that Leo, you join my membership and it's $100 a month. Okay. Whatever I'm selling, doesn't matter. And let's say that I know that the average person stays in my membership for 10 months. Okay. Well, I can pretty much predict that, I'm going to get 10 months of revenue out of every customer on average. So Leo is going to be 10 months from now. So if I have 1,000 people and I know they all stay an average of 10 months, and maybe my attrition or my churn is going to be somewhere between 4 to 8% a month, whatever. I can now plan ahead. I know how much I'm going to make 6 months from now. I can hire the person that's going to help me extend retention. I can pay money to do the ads because I know that 90% of my people are going to pay me next month. And then I only have to replace a few of them every month to grow. So it's not like you're starting at zero. You can predict it. And we wanted that stability. We wanted that predictability in our revenue, especially coming as W-2 school teachers that were making paychecks every week, 2 weeks. So that's why we picked it. And what we find is now that we've coached thousands of people, we've got multiple, done this over and over and over again. It's if you can stop being addicted to fast money and play the long game, then the big money will come later. Like once you build your floor, like if you have think about this, there's 8 billion people on the planet and you need 833 to 850 of them to pay you $100 a month. And that's going to be about 85 grand a month. You're $1 million business, like right there with low overhead. And like, that's like 99.9999999% of people never need to buy your thing. You now have that stability where you got your base is $1 million, like screw the goal being $1 million. Like now you can go on top of that and you can say, well, what if 20% of those people paid me a $5,000 high ticket product? Now we're talking generational money and the things that you can build on top of that. So that's why we love the membership model. That's why it's the core thing that we teach for all of our people. We don't even teach people how to do high ticket until they've launched their membership and they have members, because your best customers are going to be the people that join your membership anyway to buy that coaching program. So that's how we teach it. That's why we wanted that. And it's been wonderful. It gives us so much flexibility, like in what we do online, because at any time we can pivot and be like, revenue is going to be fine for 9 to 10 months. We'll let's see what we want to do next. So that's why we love the membership model, why we teach it exclusively.
No, that's awesome. And just so smart to have a recurring revenue model. I mean, that's a business that's worth more, that's going to be able to grow so much easier versus what so many others do.
We actually in 2017 sold elementarylibrarian.com on a contract for over $1 million. And it was 100% valued on the recurring revenue and the retention numbers and the automations and everything that we had set up. So as you're becoming a 7-figure entrepreneur, if you're ever thinking about exiting anything for any reason, if you're not building recurring revenue into what you do, your business just is not going to be as valuable when you get to the end game.
The 7-figure secret right there. Shane, you mentioned that somebody taught you this membership model. And one of the biggest mistakes that so many people make is they try to just, guess and figure these things out on their own. And they're unwilling to invest in, learning from somebody who's already been down the road, who already has a roadmap for success, which obviously you and Jocelyn do. How important was it for you at the beginning to kind of make that investment and learn from, somebody who had a model that was already working?
Dude, I will go to the ends of the earth, literally, for someone to show me a faster way, because I don't want to make all the mistakes and get messed up. Now, back in, 2013 or whatever, there wasn't a lot of online business information. There weren't a lot of places you could go. Podcasts were coming on, but not huge like they are now. So I actually had the opportunity. I met this guy named Chris Ducker. He's awesome dude. And he was having an event and he was like, bro, you need to come to my event. There's a guy here that I think you would love. His name is James. He's speaking and you need to come out here. And I said, where's out here? And he goes, the Philippines. So listen, so it was going to be I mean, it was crazy, man. Like I had to drive 4 hours to get to an airport to get me to the Philippines. Okay. Like from where I live out in Southeast Kentucky. And, but like, I was like, I told Jocelyn, I said, let's go out there. Let's see what's at. Let's get ourselves around entrepreneurs. We're making good money. Let's invest and let's do it. So I think the whole trip, it probably cost me about 20 grand to even get over there because we had to fly to Dallas, then go all the way to Korea and then get on the thing. And I'm not going to lie. We sprung for first class seats so we could sleep on the way over there. So we literally traveled for like 28 hours to get to this place. Right. And we got there and we sat down with him and, we had made some money and we were doing some different things. And he kind of crystallized what we were intuitively figuring out through what we were doing. Right. And he put his experience and his mentorship and his words behind it to clear the mud. It's almost like those little magnet paintings you used to buy at the dollar store when you were a kid, where you would draw the guy's beard on him and like it was kind of fuzz everywhere, and then you'd shake it off and start over. Like I felt like that's what he did. He like took my terrible picture and he shook it up and then he drew it back like perfect. And it was funny because so I hired him as a coach because I was like, I got to go down the rabbit hole with this guy again. So I ended up working with him for about a year. But me and Jocelyn got back on the plane. And it wasn't enough just to have a mentor. It wasn't enough just to have a path. You have to put in the work too. We actually turned our seats toward each other and we slept on the way there, but on the way back for 14 hours, we drew up what the membership model meant to us, what we wanted to do in our business, how we wanted to teach this to other people. And, basically it took us 9 days to get there and back. But in those 9 days, I felt like I had a 9-year wormhole shortcut in everything that I did. And, there's only two ways to succeed, man. Like you can work your way in or you can buy your way in. And coaching and mentorship and training just lets you get past all the nonsense so you can actually get to the business of growing a 7-figure business.
Hey, man, it's just so cool that you and your wife were able to do that together. And boy, when you can go on a journey like that, it just is an amazing thing. And so I think it's super important for everybody listening to include your spouse, your partner with you on this journey as much as possible. Maybe they're not going to be in the trenches working with you side by side like Shane and Jocelyn are, but if they can be, great, or if you can at least communicate and be on the same page with the goals, I mean, that is super vital and important. But one of the questions I want to ask you, Shane, is to have a membership program where people are paying month after month after month, what do you feel like are some of the keys to keeping those people coming back and paying every month and keeping the churn and the attrition rate down? How do you deliver value month after month to keep them engaged and to keep them from canceling?
Sure. I mean, basically people are going to come into your membership in this almost this exact sequence. Okay. Yeah. At first they're going to be drawn to you and your message. So you have to be on fire for your message. You've got to be spreading your message online, through podcasts, through blogs. My wife, Jocelyn, she grew her community and her online memberships through blogging and then a podcast. I grew all of mine through podcasts. So it doesn't matter what you do. It only matters that you do it. So once they find you, they're going to be drawn into the product because of you and the plan or the blueprint that you're going to give them, right? So when they see a step-by-step process to solve their problem, the personality that they like has the plan that they like, that's what's going to get them to actually take action and come in the front door. But here's the sauce. This is the magic. People come for the content, but they stay for the community. It's not just a membership where people are watching on-demand trainings all the time. That's really important. We have an ever-evolving on-demand training suite of everything that we teach we're constantly renewing and making better. Yes. But the gift that membership owners give to their customers is not just the plan, it's each other. And once that dynamo takes over, where you've got 100, 200 people and they're talking together and they're working together toward common goals and they're getting to know each other in forums and on member calls and on stuff like that, that's the value. People will not leave their friends. So you have to help people make friends, right? Like you build a community around the content, around the personality, and you don't make it all about you. You're just the welcome wagon. And once people come in, you're definitely showing up. You're definitely serving at a high level. But once the community takes over, that's really what makes a membership grow. I see so many people try to cram their course into a membership model. And then they're like, I don't know why anybody quits in 2 months. Well, it's because you just stuffed them in a back room by themselves to read through books. Like, you got to give them people. Like, people stay for people. And also too, this is something I've been teaching my people now for a couple of months now with Chat GPT, AI, and all these things that are kind of commoditizing content a little bit. If you're not injecting personality and you're not building community and you don't have humans at the center of everything you do, you will not survive in the online economy in the next tier. This is the time to build communities right now and connect people to each other.
So massive value bomb, guys. Whatever you're doing, stop, get off the treadmill, pull your car over, take that note. If you want to have something that has staying power, you must build a community. And so that kind of leads us to, the next question. So how do you build that community? What are some of the steps? What platform do you use to kind of bring them all together so that they can communicate? How do you do that?
So once they get into your area and you've got your process, so we use Kajabi. I'm a Kajabi partner. That's all we promote. That's all we take, because it's kind of the easiest, quickest, most affordable solution to actually build memberships on.
Basically. And it looks great. System. It looks great. Yeah, we've used it for going back to 2016.
Yeah, man. You just can't beat, and their customer support's so good too. Like, everything about Kajabi is awesome. But a community is built in a very simple way. Number one, it's built with leadership. You've got to be the leader. You've got to lead the conversations by creating that first dynamic. Me and Jocelyn would just talk to ourselves until people would post. When we first started our communities, we would just have conversations 3 or 4 threads deep. And then finally somebody else would jump in. And then eventually people started starting their own threads, right? But we have a forum where people can come and talk like every day. It's like a Facebook group, but we actually host it in Kajabi. And then also just straight up Zoom live calls, man. Just get people together. Yes. That's all you need. Don't overcomplicate this. Everybody wants bells and whistles and productivity and efficiency and all. Dude, get on a Zoom call, do a Q&A. We had a Halloween party last year where I was Bob Ross and my wife was the painting. I mean, like, have fun, like, get in there. And also too, like, be authentic. Let your message draw in the people that are like you, want to be around you. That's your number one differentiator. And everybody can sell the same thing, but your personality is gonna set the difference. And then just show up. I actually have a mindset little thing that I teach my students. All you have to do to grow a great online business is be consistent, prolific, and relentless. Are you consistent? Can your people count on you? Right? Can they count on you to show up every week for them on a Q&A for 1 hour? Are you prolific? Right? Are you getting in there for 20 minutes a day and kind of replying to some posts? Are you every day? You're just checking on your people. Are you relentless about increasing the value of what you're offering? Like, you're looking at your courses, making sure they're up to date. Be consistent, be prolific, be relentless. Use simple tools, a forum, and some Zoom calls, and you're on. I actually have a guy, listen to this. I'll tell you the simplest membership I've ever seen. We were in Franklin, Tennessee. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine. He wanted to add a membership to what he was doing. He was selling some courses. And I said, well, who do you serve? And he said, I serve writers, people that write, bloggers, novelists, whatever. And I said, what's their biggest challenge? Well, they don't hit their word count. Why? Because they write alone. I said, stop. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go and start a membership, $50 a month. You're going to put Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're going to have 3 Zoom calls. These are going to be co-writing sessions. Everybody's going to log in. They're going to declare how many words they're going to write in the next hour. You're going to have a camera pointing at you while you write something. You're going to turn on music, and you're going to go to Amazon and order a giant hourglass and flip it over. And people are just going to sit there and watch you write for an hour. And he's like, you think that'll work? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's a community of writers writing together for accountability. And within like 6 months, he had that up to 600 members paying him every single month. Just to basically show up and watch that fool sit beside an hourglass. And now he's hired people as it's grown to run more times. So there's like 3 times a day. So like, what did he need to run that, man? He needed a Zoom account and some way to take the payment. So don't overcomplicate it. Just show up, be consistent, prolific, relentless, and give people space to be together. And really magic things can happen on the internet, dude. It's crazy.
Oh, this is such good stuff, Shane. You're giving me so many good ideas to use with our own community. And guys, if you are not getting value from this podcast, you better just start it over. Stop what you're doing and start taking notes. Maybe listen to it 2 or 3 times, because he's really giving you a blueprint for how to build community, for how to build recurring revenue, for how to build a 7 figures business and beyond, and really be free. be free of, worrying about money, be free of not having the control that you need in your life, the ability to, take your family on great trips, to spend quality time, to get your time back, to control what you want. So everybody at this point is asking themselves one question: Shane, what can I do today to get the flipped lifestyle blueprint and start living the better life, creating the 7-figure business? And maybe they've got something, maybe they've got an idea, they know who they're serving, they're just struggling to do it. And now they're getting this blueprint idea of how to create, membership, community, and recurring revenue. What is the next step that they need to take right now to start getting closer to making that happen?
So the first thing you got to do is realize everybody has God-given gifts they can use to serve other people in the marketplace and help them solve problems. And those solutions are worth getting paid for every month, right? The second thing to remember is you're not as far away from like quitting your job and doing an online business as you think of making it to 7 figures. It's one thing to say I need 800 people to pay me $100 a month. That's going to get me to 7 figures. But really just do what I did. Take your take-home pay, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, divide it by 50. That's how many human beings out of the 8 billion you need to change your life forever, and then work toward that 7-figure business. And then what you need to do is you need to find an idea for an online business that can make money online. And we actually have a free training for all your listeners, man. Go to flippedlifestyle.com/Leo, Leo, flippedlifestyle.com/Leo. And what I've got there is my idea training. I will guide you through the process of how to find your God-given ideas and gifts. I'll go over about 20 case studies of people from our community, how they found their idea as well. And you can watch that training. You can get your idea. We have a research video there to show you how to research it to see how it's doing online in the marketplace right now. And once you take that first step and you have your idea, we have some other resources and stuff on that page as well. So go to flippedlifestyle.com/Leo, and we will help you find your idea for that online business that may turn into a 7-figure business someday.
Guys, this is not a passive podcast. This is an action-taking, implement what you learn every episode podcast. So definitely go to flippedlifestyle.com/Leo. Get that free blueprint. Start moving forward. Learn how to create the business that you want, and most importantly, the lifestyle that you want, where you have control, where you can create an epic life for you and your family. That's what this podcast is all about. And we want to, give some massive props here. We've had a lot of guests over the years on this podcast, but I really enjoy Shane's story. And he just makes it so simple, the step-by-step, and the quickest path to success, as he indicated, is not you trying to figure all this out through the School of Hard Knocks, which is very expensive. It's learning from a roadmap of success that Flipped Lifestyle and Shane and Jocelyn have already created for you. So go and check that out, my friends, and take action. Do what you need to create the life you want and join the 7 Figures Club. Shane, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
I had a blast, man. Appreciate you.
Are you looking for more 7-figure secrets, content, or even how you can launch your own recession-proof business? Then check out 7figures.com. That's the digit 7, FIGURES.com, where we share more videos, stories, strategies, funding solutions, entrepreneurial education, and even the secret business type that's recession-proof. Thank you for listening, and if you're finding value in our podcast, please give us a 5-star and invite others to join the club.